And first pitch, tip-off, kickoff, face-off. Welcome to the No Show Sportscast. I'm Matt Klein. Mondays and Fridays. Happy New Year. First show of the year. The Canucks fall to St. Louis 2-1 after having a very decisive victory 6-3 versus Ottawa on Tuesday. They start a huge road trip, and unfortunately, after what seemed like a very excellent back-and-forth game with St. Louis, because St. Louis is, I think, they're a good team. Okay, they're solid. They're a team that we can say, okay, every time that the Canucks are going to be playing them, we got to make sure that we keep track of this game. But unfortunately, St. Louis, Thursday night, they're unable to get the victory that they needed because for most of this game it was knotted at 1-1. But so many opportunities in that third period. Demko played great. Jordan Binnington played great. And the end result, of course, Robert Thomas, he's able to get the goal in the third period to go up 2-1. And in the Ottawa game, the Canucks had an exceptional first period. 5-0, they were blowing the roof off of the Senators, thinking like they wanted to pull their goalie and then pull him again, making them want to go all the way back to Ontario, not want to come here again. But like Tocchet stresses in the post-game press conference, he says, guys, we lost that game 2-1 if we're counting periods here, because after that 5-0 lead, they lose the next two periods 3-1. And maybe that motivation should now be encouraged a little bit more, because it was a difficult game against St. Louis on Thursday night, and they're not able to get that, close it out, and make themselves look good. So you could maybe say that's 5 periods in a row where the Canucks have been losing. But I think, alas, let's digress a little bit. Let's take some breaths here, okay? Because even though it may look like this is an opportunity for the Canucks to start maybe, I don't know, going downhill a little bit, I don't think that's necessarily the case whatsoever, because they still played great against St. Louis. St. Louis is a good team. They're on the road. They got to go to the East Coast and play all of those New York teams. So they visit the tri-state area, and then Pittsburgh and Buffalo. So a good test here, because it's always a test when you go on the road. It's not a test when you're playing the Sharks and the Ducks all the time at home. And that's exactly what the Canucks have needed. They've been needing that ass whooping. So a 2-1 loss. You've got the All-Star announcements happening. You've got Vegas playing Florida. We got the Stanley Cup Final rematch. And, of course, we've got all the other Western Conference teams battling it out, like Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado. So it's getting very, very tight in there in the Western Conference. But they can't get a single point. But the road trip has just begun. Maybe 0-1 is not the best outlook on things. But the Canucks have got a whole lot going for them, okay? That third line continues to produce Connor Garland, Teddy Bluger, and Dakota Joshua. I mean, can I get myself some Dakota Joshua on the Tampa Bay Lightning, please? I mean, a third line like this is exactly what you need. Every great team needs one. You need that solid third line. And this third line has been connecting for them. So it's been spectacular. And Rick Tocchet has been recognizing their greatness. But also recognizing how the team has not been as uniform, or perhaps the defense has not been as supportive or connected, interlinked. Because we're seeing that on the defensive side. But maybe that's just Demko reminding us that maybe he should be the next guy. Well, the next goalie. There seems to be an abundance of goaltenders that are already selected. We've got the first round of All-Star voting underway. Quinn Hughes appears to be the only Canuck. I don't understand. But maybe some of the voters were looking at Brock Besser's performance and seeing it as how he's second in the league in scoring. Maybe he should be completely kicked off of that list, because he had a terrible night. He just completely whiffed on this one opportunity. It looked like he had the puck on his stick. He was right in front of Binnington, and he just completely whiffed on it. I don't know how we can justify that, not to mention how many other opportunities there were. But, I mean, there's always going to be chances like this, and St. Louis just managed to bury more of them. They had more, and they took advantage of more. So they were a lot more, the passes were connecting, a lot more chemistry there. But maybe that's just because of this road trip beginning. And obviously not off to the best start. that they possibly could have had. But hey, just got to keep some of that momentum going. 2024, it's got to be good. It's got to be an excellent January, mid 500, maybe a little bit better. I don't want to be the cynical one suggesting that they're going to fall off here, because they haven't really done any of that. And I'm not going to say that one game is indicative of how they're going to finish. It's a tough road trip playing the Devils, Jersey, and the Rangers, and the Islanders, and Pens, and Sabres. But this is what they need. This is an excellent test for them. In case there's any more confusion, perhaps, maybe any doubt, maybe how the players have been playing as well, because it's been all over the place, I think, recently. But there hasn't been like a definitive, okay, now they're just not as good as they used to be when they started the year back in October and November. Because there's none of that. There's none of that. They're the best team in the league so far. They have been scoring the most. They have been incredibly productive, and the individual stats and the individual awards and achievements are right in the grasp of a handful of players for them. So it's been good for them. And yeah, they're continuing New Jersey, playing them on Saturday. So that's going to be an excellent test for them. New Jersey's kind of been in and out of conversation on, well, where exactly they should rank in the Metropolitan Division, because I think they've been subpar. And they have some excellent competition just being in the Metropolitan Division, as well as, the Hughes brothers. We're getting another reunion here. So Mom and Pop can stop in and watch in New Jersey, watch the game against the Canucks. So that'll be great, right? Like, you guys are going to show up. This is some good. We need this energy to get into Quinn, because he probably doesn't feel like he's been playing his best. And he was playing way too much. He was playing way too much. You cannot be playing that much. Multiple 2-minute shifts in the third period. I understand you're down one and you're the best player on the team. Well, maybe Demko's the best player on the team. I don't know. But Hughes is the guy that cannot have bad games, it seems. And maybe that's just from the defensive aspect, but as well as offensively. The power play has been struggling. They have not been the same team, it seems. But I honestly don't care about that. I don't care about how maybe invisible guys like Tyler Myers and Nikita Zadorov have been. I care more about all four lines being active and being involved. And if the third line is the best line, then that is all you need in a good team, because they're staying on the third line. That means they're not even the top six. That means to some degree they're interchangeable. But I would not be touching this line. This line has been sticking together and producing. And that's exactly what they need. They got to keep that going. And Joshua, just unbelievable. Great game for him. And the Canucks rolling into the tri-state area, spending the weekend in New York. Just like we got some other Canadian news that the New York has been appreciative of. They've been appreciative of the Toronto Raptors players. But most importantly, one guy in particular, OG Anunoby, the trade, going over for RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley. This is quickly this is very quickly turned profitable for both sides. Not too sure which team won the trade so far, because both teams are 2-0. They're both undefeated. But I would say from when I first saw this, I was very, very this is awesome. I thought this was spectacular for the Raptors, because now Quickley is their starting point guard, and RJ Barrett he can play their small forward position now. Because OG, who is in and out of the lineup, that's just kind of been his thing. And maybe New York Knicks fans don't actually know how inconsistent this guy has been. Because I think the problem with this trade is that the Raptors know who RJ Barrett is. But do people in New York, do the Knicks know who Anunoby is? Like, do they know who Anunoby is? Do they? Especially a guy with a name like OG Anunoby. I cannot say that I would not put money aside that a lot of people in New York actually know who this guy is. And maybe they saw that he was circulating in trade rumors, or that he had a nice game, or that he was leading the league in steals for a week, or he was a defensive player of the second half of January 3 years ago. Like, just stuff that is inconsequential. And maybe they know who Anunoby is, and they think that he's going to be a huge asset to them because he's won a championship with the Raptors. We're going to talk about that. He won a championship with the Raptors, and RJ Barrett has not been the third overall pick that we wanted him to be in the first round. And Quickley's been great, but he's kind of just been inconsistent, and he's been coming off the bench. So let's get a guy who has been in the league for a little bit longer. He's proven to be an excellent defender. He can shoot the three. He can stretch the floor. He's a tall dude. He got a bunch of dunks in his first game. So let's bring him in. Let's do that. What could hurt us? Because Barrett has not been the guy, especially when he's just an unpolished Julius Randle. And we've got Brunson in here, who's averaging over 25 points a game, so we don't need Barrett anymore. We've got all the scoring, all the production. A guy like Anunoby, and then maybe another center down the road. Let's get into that. But the biggest hamartia with Anunoby is that the guy didn't even play on the championship team when they went on their 2019 NBA championship run. He wasn't even playing. He didn't play a game for the Raptors at all. So this guy clearly, back then, I understand that was 4 or 5 seasons ago, whatever. Yeah, okay. Let's understand that the guy is maybe he's gotten better. But from my vantage point, the guy has been missing lots of time. And he's only played 70 or more games in a season. That was his rookie season. And then 2 years after that, he played around 60 games. Last year, he played around 65, 69. But he has been missing time. There's always something going on. Now, I don't think that is a huge factor. I just think that if you're getting a guy who's going to play 70 games a season, or 65 to 70 games a season, I'm always going to favor the trade, unless it's for a superstar. I'm always going to favor the trade for the team that ends up getting more players. Because you're getting not just, it can seem difficult because you have to manage the roster now and the cap space if you're getting a hunk of players instead of just removing one from your roster. But if you're adding multiple guys that can actually almost like, which one is better right now? Has Immanuel Quickley been better, or has RJ Barrett been better? Like, these are two guys that we have now. And the Raptors get that depth as well. So I think that's been better. Anunoby, he still has a lot of potential. I really wish that he had done a lot of great things with the Raptors. I thought he would be great in Toronto, and I hope he does well in New York. I just think it would have happened by now, okay? Because he's got Zion and PG type of game logs here. And that is a problem. When you want a guy who's, he's in his mid-20s, nearing his his later 30s. His later 30s. No, his later 20s. But hey, this is all gonna be revealed to us sooner rather than later. We're gonna get a feel for him. I don't know how long it's gonna take him. Let's see. Well, from when is he gonna miss his first game? I'm taking the over/under. I'm probably the under 20 games. But that's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask for. That's not fair. It's a lot to ask of a player to play 20 games in a row. Just look at the game logs of there's multiple players in the NBA where their game log, it looks like a CEO's holiday vacation where they're always here, they're always not. Like, I don't know, Logan Roy's helicopter exits. How many times he's been flying off to upstate? It's just in and out and in and out. Guys, like, all over the place. But I want to give Anunoby the benefit of the doubt. He's going to be better. He's getting better, and he's going to be everything that the Knicks want from him. But I think the Raptors won this trade here. So, talking about individual achievements and individual problems, speaking about injury-prone players, what about that transition to Lamar Jackson and Dalvin Cook teaming up here? Because the National Football League, it is the end. It is the twilight of the season. And at the beginning of every season, I always think that the season is going to be over. The season is going to be over in a blink of an eye, and I'm going to completely forget all about it. And it's just going to whip right through. 18 weeks, we're going right through the whole thing. And this is just way too quick for me, this NFL season. It comes and goes like the fall. And now we're into the winter here because it's January. The playoffs are upon us. It's week 18. No games on Thursday, a couple on Saturday. We've got the Colts and the Texans. And before that, we've got the Ravens and the Steelers. So, Lamar Jackson is not playing. And he's probably not the only one who's not playing, but he's the noticeable guy because you got to rest him in a meaningless game. You got to rest him, okay? All right, sure. But now they got Dalvin Cook. He's signing with the Ravens. He's loading up on that stacked running back room. I don't know if he's even going to see a lick of time because he's competing against Keaton Mitchell, Gus Edwards, and Justice Hill. And Lamar can run as well. He ran for over 800 rushing yards this year. Lamar is having kind of one of the most, this is one of those MVPs if he wins. He's most likely going to. This is one of those MVPs where you're going to have to look at who is he going up against. Because passing yards were down. Passing touchdowns were down. I think cumulative receiving yards as well were probably down. We had a bunch of guys that were going off. Rushing yards were going down, though. There was a lot of weird, funky stuff and a lot of bad games this season. But I'm not going to recap the season. I'm just saying that for Lamar's MVP, he's only going to finish with 3,700 passing yards and 24 touchdowns with 102 passer rating, 24 passing touchdowns. Compared to when he won his MVP last time, he had 36 passing touchdowns and 1,200 rushing yards. And he had a 113 passer rating. So the guy had an amazing season. Even last year, when Patrick Mahomes won, that guy had to put up over 5,500 scrimmage yards, I believe it was, 51 or 5,200 in the air. And then he ran for a bunch. He threw for a lot. I mean, the guy played spectacular, noticeably MVP level. No one's really been there because I'm pretty sure interceptions have been up. That's what it seems like. Interceptions have been up, and Lamar with his 24-7 interceptions. But when he won MVP, he threw 36 and he only had 6 picks. So the guy, relative to his competitors here, that's what it's going to come down to. And it's just, it turned out to be he was the I guess the least mediocre in a mediocre quarterback performance this year. I mean, some guys had career years like Baker Mayfield, and C.J. Stroud's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. But it was overall very disappointing, I think, that we could say. But the Ravens, they're resting. Looks like they're getting the bye week. San Francisco's getting the bye week. We're getting plenty of rests. We're going to see Carson Wentz and Sam Darnold on Sunday. So, I don't know. We're going to see everybody's backup, so I don't even know who's going to be tuning into that game. The Rams are going to lose even more fans that they already didn't have. And losing it quick to the 49ers. I'm kind of already looking to next season. The Super Bowl feels like it's going to be tomorrow, and then it's going to be over, and then boom, and then we're going right back to next season. The long, horrid off season. It's just so long, and I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to March. I'm not looking forward to any of this. It's just awful. I can't stand it, how long the off season is. But hey, we're going to be getting a little bit more, interested. We're going to be revamping into maybe some more meaningful basketball and hockey games because there's plenty of meaningful. Who am I kidding? And then the end of March, we're going to get baseball season. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. The Giants and the Yankees, first game of the season. That was a good one. And sooner rather than later. Hurry up, baseball. Come back because I miss you already. And we are going to be coming back on Monday on the No Show.